Well, my fellow Hooties, here we are with attempt number 3. First time, I had a weird transition in the beginning, and there's a space there, and then there was a gap in my audio. Then, I fixed it, and lost 7 minutes of my video. What? Now, I'm sure it's my fault, but just saying. Just saying. This is my last attempt. I'm gonna fix it. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoy. Hope it works. And let's see that intro. Ever since I got my Hooted wing on a GameCube and the amazing game Ed and Eddie The Misadventures, I've been thinking about adding the series to my list of shows to talk about. And now that I've got the complete series on DVD, which may I add arrived early, I can't think of a better show to talk about than Ed, and Eddie. And I know just the episode, which according to the DVD isn't the episode we're discussing, but the next episode. But that's not a new thing with some series collection, mixing the episodes. Speaking of misadventures, thank you to everyone watching those streams. I'm definitely going to stream more in the future. Except I put streaming that game on hold for the moment because of certain remaster that was shadow dropped while making the script for this episode. I'll get back to streaming more misadventures, but right now, Oblivion has me. But with that being said, let's grab some quarters and go grab up the last of the Jawbreakers as we discuss Ed and Eddie Season 1, Episode 1, the Ed-touchables and Nagged to Ed. Which again, in the DVD, Pop Goes the Ed and Over Your Ed is the first episode. I gotta comment on how amazing the intro is. It really captures the Ed's personalities perfectly before the first episode begins. It gives us a look at the Eds even before the first episode. As all great intros should, how they interact with each other and their personalities, Eddie showing off to the camera, Ed waving to the camera, and Double D shyly inching off the camera as it goes into chaos like they're making some home movie. Which I can see them making for one of Eddie's latest schemes to get enough quarters so they can get some coveted Jawbreakers that are the size of bowling balls. Heck, they're bigger than bowling balls. Even the music for the episode cards change as the series goes on, adding more notes and extending it, as well as changing the font of the writers and director credits from being similar to John Carpenter's Halloween to similar to the episode's card's wacky font style. Okay, I'll stop ranting about the intro bits and get to the episode. We begin with Double D as he goes around labeling everything as he's known to do on occasion.
Ooh, I like what you've done with that tunnel. 4,831, 4,835. That's everybody. 4,837.
Which also gives us a look at the Double D's personality, his need, nay, his compulsion to have everything to be in order and have them be clean and neat, which I don't need to tell you that it contradicts the others' personalities, particularly Ed's, which you'll see when you get to his basement-like dwellings. Even Eddie, for how much he cared about his appearances, still has a messy room, but not to the extent that Ed's living situation is. But that might be because, unlike Eddie, Ed's priorities are not into his appearance, but other things, like buttered toast, gravy, pudding skins, and old B-movies and comics. And seeing the statues and spaceships hanging from his ceiling, he likes collecting or making them from said B-movies, which I can relate to, as I like to make stuff from series I like. Fallout and Elder Scrolls are examples of this, as I like to make props from that I can't otherwise buy, or are too expensive to justify buying. Another example being Harry Potter, but back to the episode. Just as Double D is about to put the label on the ant farm, he hears the doorbell ring.
No, please!
Jeepers! It's a prankster! How cruel! But I'm sure whoever did this is done with their mischief. I mean, it's not like they'll do it again. Now that you're aware of the childish pranks. Poor Double D. Who would prank him so? Why would they not only ring his doorbell multiple times, even having him question if his doorbell was working right, but to prank him with a water bucket and with a stinky fish, which is something that must be horrible for him, as much of a clean freak as he is, which I'm guessing he has OCD, and even that Ed is on the spectrum, but I don't want to make any cringy childhood ruining theories like the "they're in purgatory" crappy pasta that people throw around as, "oh wow, that makes sense," which I'm not going to begin with how awful that one is, considering they explain Naz. If you know, you know. Now, the Lost episode creepypasta isn't as bad. I mean, it has every cliche that every Lost creepypasta has, but it isn't as bad as the purgatory one. Wait, what's it talking about? Oh, yeah. Who would be so cruel as to prank sweet Double D?
Hey, Double D! What took you so long?
Oh, hello, Eddie. So what are you doing? Hey, was that you ringing my doorbell?
Who, me? Nah.
Well, that makes sense. This is where we see one side of Eddie, his love of goofing with his only friends, Double D and Ed, also entering our house without closing the door. Before Eddie can enter Double D's room, he has to be decontaminated.
And I'll dispose of these.
Okay, the slippers are on now.
We'll have it clean in no time, Eddie. Almost done.
Gee, thanks, Ed.
Aside from Eddie not wearing socks, gross, it's weird how Double D lets him walk through his house with shoes on and only stops him when he's about to walk into his room. This might be because his room is the only place where he is 100% of control of, considering we see the house is covered in sticky notes left by his parents, to which we almost never see. We actually never see the parents at all in the series, aside from their arms or silhouettes later on, which was one of the examples of the aforementioned purgatory theory, which can easily be debunked once they started going to Peach Creek Junior High in later seasons. This is the last time I mentioned that creepypasta. I just want to throw that in. While Eddie makes a mess of Double D's room, Double D finishes his labels when...
I have just one more. It's gone. Eddie!
Wait, where did Eddie get the toilet label? But also, you see that state Double D goes to when one of their items goes missing? And it's been in its designated spot so long that it leaves a literal shadow-like mark, which makes no sense considering the only way that it would be possible is if it was really dusty. And we know that Double D is all about cleanliness. Then again, this show is known for its wacky world physics. For example...
Oh, I feel sick. I feel nauseous. I can't breathe. Thank you. I needed that.
Anytime, pal.
Yeah, just casually picking up beds like they're weightless. Just one of the funny things about the series. No time now. We gotta get to the final Ed boy.
Quit fooling around.
What? Double D isn't fooling around. You slammed the basement window in his face? And also, his poor fingies. Why would you want to keep quiet? Oh, I know.
Hey, Eddie! What's up?
Well, dang. Who would think that Ed was aware of his surroundings? That he knew that Eddie was sneaking up on him? I bet that he knew that Eddie was there the second the window opened. As someone that is focused on something as long as Ed was, being him watching them old B-movies, that if anything different happened, you'd instantly know. That or it was for comedic effect. Either way, good reflexes, Ed. But I know Double D isn't about all that horsing around. Now Eddie, for one thing, but I doubt Double D would.
Hi, Ed, Double D.
You guys make me laugh.
Well, I guess I was wrong. It's good to see that despite being a germaphobe with OCD, he still has fun with his friends. But then, something evil approaches. Gasp! Who could it be? Someone so powerful that they cause the very walls to shake as they approach. Who would create such thunderous footsteps?
Where is she?
What? Who?
My dolly! Polly Poo Poo, that's who! I need my dolly.
Wow, Sarah be looking feral. Wait, she also had something stolen? Gasp! We have a thief! A burglar!
We have to warn everyone that there's a serial toucher on the loose.
How are we going to do that, Eddie?
Hey! I know just what to do!
Well, I wouldn't have called him a serial toucher, but hey, you do you, Eddie. Now that Eddie has a plan to warn people about the serial toucher, how is Eddie going to warn the people of the cul-de-sac about the toucher in the night?
Beware of the toucher! Serial toucher on the loose! Hide your stuff! Hide your valuables! Serial toucher on the loose!
That dirty toucher took my dolly poo-poo! It's true! Won't somebody help us? Yeah!
What can you dorks do about it?
Well, we dorks are gonna solve this mystery!
Don't worry, citizens of the cul-de-sac, the Eds are on the case! But how do they plan on catching the fiendish toucher? They use Ed as bait and place a don't touch sign on him to tempt him to give Big Ed a touch. Which sounds weird when you say it like that, but these are serious times here, Hooties. There's some fiend out there touching people's stuff. We can't be making jokes, little yucks, when there's a toucher in the night. Kevin is the first one to approach.
Dork!
Dork?
Shh, Ed! Somebody else is coming!
Could this be it? Could we find the one that touches stuff? What did I say about the giggles? Cut it out, we got a toucher to catch. Touching stuff. Johnny 2x4 walks by and really likes Ed's haircut.
What's that, Plank? You wanna feel too? Okay.
Aha! It's Plank! He's the toucher! Double D, sound the alarm!
Dr. Toucher, I presume?
Whoa, you guys are weird!
Get him!
Hurry! Run after him! Catch the fiendish toucher and Johnny, the accomplice. The Eds chase Johnny before giving him the classic trip up as Johnny makes one last effort to save the evil toucher.
It got me, old buddy. But you can still make it. Plank, run! Save yourself. Be nice.
Good work, Eds. You got the fiendish toucher. Now that you got him, how will you get him to confess and return the stuff he touched and stole? You know, you could have just called him a thief. I mean, calling him a toucher doesn't really apply theft as much as, well, not a thief. The Eds have the guilty party and Johnny strapped down on a chair with a... what is that attached to him?
A lie detector.
Ready.
Better watch what you say, Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny.
Why are you telling that to Johnny? He's just the accomplice. Plank is the real toucher. You should be telling him about the lie detector. You can say all you want. I know it was Plank that did it. Also, I've noticed Ed isn't as... well, Ed, as he gets in later seasons. Like, I get it, that as a series goes on, they change characters or flanderize them, as in the case with Ed, where Ed was never as simple as he became in later seasons. He seemed to have some intelligence and somewhat more normal, but then as the series went on, he slowly became more and more a simpleton to the point where he seems to have zero brains at all. But let's get back to the Eds interrogating Plank and Johnny. They give Johnny the business, looking like Jack Nicholson.
Alright, Johnny, enough fooling around. So why don't you just tell us where everybody's stuff is, hmm?
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do anything.
What's the word, Double D?
Inconclusive, Eddie.
Come on, Eddie, don't waste your time with Johnny. We all know who the real mastermind is. Plank. Eddie finally questions the real culprit, and Johnny pleads for his safety.
Where's the stuff, Planky? Fess up! Ah! Splinters!
Leave Plank alone, Eddie!
The board is lying.
Yeah, that's right. You give that toucher board the business. That'll teach him for being a toucher of people's stuff. As the results show, the Plank is lying, and he resorts to drastic measures.
This will make you swell up good.
Oh. Hey, I did it! I took everyone's stuff! Oh, now let me go! I gotta go to the bathroom!
Well, even though Johnny took the blame for Plank, we can finally get some justice. So, what's the punishment for Johnny? 100 years dungeon, life imprisonment, helping Rolf with his backyard farm. However, the real fiend Plank will get a pass to... Oh, who am I kidding? It was Johnny. Or was it? Just as the Eds are ready to spend their reward on Jawbreakers, there may have been a small misunderstanding.
I found my dolly under my bed. It's true, and here she is.
Upon further inspection of my person, I seem to have come across my magnifying glass.
Gasp! It seems that neither Johnny or Plank stole the stuff, or even touched them. And I was so sure it was the diabolical 2x4. Or not. But that don't matter, because the Eds still got their Jawbreakers. However, Sarah has one last thing to say about that.
Hang tight, Johnny. This won't hurt a bit.
Should we feel guilty about Johnny's predicament?
Snap! Come on, we gotta get the Jawbreaker!
So who was the toucher? Well, no one. They just didn't take the time to simply look around and see if they have misplaced their belongings before jumping to conclusions. Thinking Johnny or even Plank was a toucher, I know I would have never think to blame them for such a horrible thing. I know they were innocent the whole time. You can trust me. Would I lie? This is also a good example of how torture is the wrong thing to do to get information. Because as you see with Johnny, at some point, they would admit to anything to end the pain. Or for Johnny not being able to go potty. But that's unrelated. Now that the episode is over, let's head on down to local forest close to the trailer park as we discuss the B episode, Nagged to Ed. Yeah, that's right, you're getting a double feature this time. I want to see how well this episode does. If it does great, I'll be sure to do this from now on. Well, I mean cartoon series with 2 episodes like classic Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network shows that were more episodic in structure. I remember this episode growing up, and it still holds up today. Let's not waste any more time and get to discussing Ed and Eddie Season 1, Episode 1B, Nagged to Ed, right after this short message. That's right, we're doing a little ad break between episodes. Follow the adventures of Maik the Great and rediscover the splendors of Cyrodiil in the Oblivion Remaster. Every time I go live, I want to say 5 p.m., but subscribe to stay notified when I go live. And now, back to the review. The Eds are hanging out at Double D's garage as they get ready for their monthly insect expedition, and they proceed to the forest. Nothing better than a healthy expedition to the Peach Creek forest to collect all sorts of bugs, insects, and all manner of creepy crawlies, to feel the cooling breeze in the air and take in the sights of the majestic forest. And nothing beats the tranquil sounds of the forest. As one of the Hooted persuasion, I know a thing or two about the great outdoors. but I still enjoy the comforts of the Allery base in space. I'm sure there won't be anything that'll make their expedition in the forest to be anything but absolutely peaceful, right? While the Eds are enjoying the splendors of nature and one giant petri dish of life, they run into a surprise.
Oh, way big!
It's a masterpiece of nature.
Looks like my grandmother's hairnet.
Wow, that's one giant spider web. Imagine the kind of enormous arachnid that spun that sticky booby trap for unexpected prey. But looking back, did a spider spin that trap? Or something far more sinister? Ed decides to get stuck in the spider web.
What was that?
Now you've done it.
Oh no, now you've done it indeed! Have the Ed boys encountered the Mirkwood spiders of J.R.R. Tolkien lore? Some lost kin of Shelob, the greatest offspring of Ungoliant? The Eds manage to rescue Ed just in time as they make a run for it deeper into the forest, but are being followed. Oh no! The Bog of Entrapment! The deadliest of all bog traps! How many adventurers have met their end to the sticky pool of muck and sludge? Now how they escape the eight-legged monsters! Oh, I can't bear to watch! But as it turns out, it's not a giant arachnid of Tolkien lore, but... Okay, not gonna lie, that still gets me after all these years. It has a B-movie vibe to it. Again, if this was supposed to be the first episode of the series, then why was it set as episode 2 in the complete series DVD? And for those who may think this isn't the current copy, the one I got is a 30th anniversary of Cartoon Network edition, which came out in 2022. So it's odd how they put Pop Goes the Ed and Over Your Head before this episode. The Eds wake up inside a trailer park. In a trailer.
Hey Ed, so happy you dropped in!
Hope you like our dad's robes.
Huh?
It's worse than I could have imagined! The Canker Sisters! Now I know how messed up these trailer park harpies are, and I don't condone what they put the poor Ed boys through, but I'll say it. Marie is best Canker. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say on the matter. Also, it's weird that they have separate dads, which is weird considering they pretty much are the same age, I think. I don't want to think about how they have different dads and yet be so close in age. So let's get back to the Ed episode. Okay, I'll stop. We're introduced to the Cankers.
I'm May Canker.
I'm Marie Canker.
And I'm Lee Canker. We're the Canker sisters. We just moved in.
Well, already we see that they're creepy, no sense of boundaries, and have been spying on the Ed boys for who knows how long. Yeah, this isn't creepy in the slightest. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd make a run for it the second they leave the room. But let's see what the Eds suggest they do. The creepily hospitable hosts go to make the Eds some home cooking, as Double D suggests they make a run for it.
Let's go.
Hold it, Double D! Where's your manners? They're new here. And they said they were gonna make us some food, didn't they? So why don't we just hang out for a bit, eat for free, and then we can split.
Oh, Eddie, you poor fool. You're lucky this is on Cartoon Network. You should know never accept free food from strangers, especially the strangers that snatched you up and took you to their trailer park home, paid you, yeah, they forgot to mention that, completely messed up fact, and put you in their dad's bathrobes, which is a messed up thing and I don't even want to go near with Plank's 10-foot tall cousin. You know, Pole. The Eds explore the Canker's house as they see crude drawings from the Cankers.
What the? Ah! That's not funny!
What's the problem, Eddie? I mean, from the fact that you have no idea who these crazy Cankers are, yet. But I want to add that Lee seems to be the most artistic of the three, which is still creepy, but hey, give credit where it's due, I guess. as the Eds enjoy some delicious powdered milk, which seems to be poorly stirred. I mean, really, Marie, stir it up a little more for our Ed boys. They seem to be bouncing clouds over here, looking like some NPC from Blazing Dragons. You know, the monks drinking the plum juice at the juice bar at the village outside of Sir George's castle. I'm sure you Hooties have played the Shimmering Gem of Crystal Dynamics on the PlayStation 1. Seriously, let me know if you Hooties have played Blazing Dragons on the PS1. The Cankers make the Eds lunch, and they seem to behave like the Eds.
I'm doing the fish sticks.
Then give me the squeeze-a-blob.
Girls, shut up! We got lunch to make. The way to a man's heart is through his arteries. I'm a little canker secret sauce. Ketchup!
You know, if it wasn't for the fact that they're the Cankers and they do what they do to the Eds, you'd think they'd be the perfect matches for the Eds. Yeah, they're a little rough around the edges. By that I mean jagged steel. But hey, they're kind of like the Ed boys. They bring out the lunch, and I'm not gonna lie, it looked good. Not gonna lie, them burgers be looking good. So much so that I'm currently making me some burgers as I make this. Well, Chef Hoots is for me, that is. I can't be bothered to make food when I have a top chef Hoots that would love to do so for me. Oh, sure, Hoots. I'll make you some burgers for you. I'd love to. The girls try to swoon the Eds as they feast on their lard burgers, and they look adorable, but they seem to be distracted. Well, I mean, I get that they want some thanks or attention from the Eds, but yeah, you girls were the ones that stalked them and brought them to your trailer, so as adorable as you got it all gussied up for the Eds, especially Marie, you can't expect them to not pay attention, and when Double D asks what's wrong, you give them. Which, yeah, anyone with common sense and knowledge of how ladies are will immediately know that's not the case. You gotta look at the subtext in these cases. You really shouldn't think the Eds, even Double D, would get the hint that you gals want the Eds to give you attention. Like you guys are couples. Upset that the Cankers didn't get the thanks that they honestly deserved. Again, they're the Cankers, but they still went and made them food. And I mean, it was lard burgers, but still, hey, thanks, would have probably been enough for them. I mean, really, they probably wouldn't have been mad if they ignored them after. They would have been happy with the simple thanks. Then again, I'm not sure. I'm just a little hoot after all. They tell them off for not pulling their weight around the house and make them clean the house. Now I understand them being upset that they weren't appreciated from them making lunch, but they make it sound like they're married and this was all they did. I know this was them playing house, and they probably fantasized about doing this since they arrived, which is a scarier thought once you think about it. And now that it's not going as planned, they act like they're deadbeats. Or maybe this was the only thing they know about how husbands act, and this was what they saw their mom do with them before they, well, went to get milk and never returned. Or she booted them out. It also makes you think that they act the way they do, and the home life they had before moving here, or even if their mom still lives there. I mean, of course she does. How could they have had the trailer? I know we don't see the adults, and this is more than likely because they're at work while this is taking place, and that Kanker's mom probably has multiple jobs. That, or she receives child support from each of the dads, if they aren't all bums with no money to their names, at which they're probably all at the big house for lack of child support. So, who's paying for the trailer? Just one of the many things I tend to think about when watching these shows. They got poor Double D scrubbing floors and... Lee, can you put your lay down, please? We don't need to be seeing that. I don't want to think of what poor Ed would see if he'd made the mistake of looking in the living room and catching that, and the peripherals. Bah! Ed, however, is done with his chores and decided to come inside.
You're tracking mud!
Mud?
Ed, I know you aren't the brightest of the Eds, but why would you track mud inside the trailer? You can't think to, I don't know, take them off? Wait, don't take them off. The smell would have been far worse than anything you track on the floor. Ed makes a mess, as Ed is known to do, and the cankers aren't happy about it.
You should go back to diving for clams.
That's enough! Okay.
This is the thanks we get for our hard work.
Ed boys, how dare you? They took you into their home. Well, they kidnapped you and put you in their dad's robes and then made you clean the house. But you upset them. You better go say sorry before running for your lives and never talking about this, always looking around, worrying if they're watching, waiting. The Eds do the right thing and apologize.
Get out of here and never come back!
You heard her.
Well, try to would be a better choice of words. I mean, you get to leave, and to be honest, you really shouldn't feel bad for them. I mean, because, you know, they kidnapped you. Okay, so, they weren't the nicest to them for making you lunch and let you watch Fishbowl too.
A classic.
You'd think you'd be nicer to the ones that kidnapped you, and, I know I already talked about this, but what if their mom kicked out their dads when they acted lazy and did nothing around the house? Whether they did not have a job, or would come back from work and not help around the house, which I understand if they're tired from working all day, to come home to a list of chores? Now, no, they're the bad ones, not the Eds. Okay guys, get out of here. I mean, it's not like anything's gonna stop you, like...
Just a minute there. What about Eddie Jr. and Ed Jr.? Don't forget Double D Jr.
Run, Eds! Run before it's too late! The Eds make an escape as the cankers set their sights on the Eds.
I think I'm in our UV love.
And thus begins the cankers' pursuit of the Ed boys in a game of cat and mouse. And fellow Hooties, it's only down here from here. Well, not in quality of the show, but this is the tamest that the cankers put the Eds through. But with that being said, that was the episode, the Ed-touchables and Nagged to Ed. Hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know what you thought of the episode and the review in the comments. And if you want this kind of review where I discuss both episodes in one, as always, you fellow Hooties, feedback and opinions mean a lot, and I can't thank you all enough for all of your support, fellow Hooties and new viewers. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and join the Parliament of Hoots and become a fellow Hootie. That's right, you too can become a Hoots just like me. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share with your fam, and until then, I'll see you when you visit the gallery again, and I get my hoot in the dark. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, share with your fam, subscribe today and join the Parliament of Hoots, and also comment what you thought of the review. What are your opinions on said episode? Let me know in the comment section below. Your guys' opinion means so much to me, new viewers, and fellow Hooties. Check out the videos below, it'll take you to more of my content, and follow my other social medias, including Instagram, Twitch, and also Twitter, or X. Until next time, guys, I'll see you when you visit the gallery again, and I get my hoot in the dark.